Hello there. I hope you guys are all doing very well today. It is Sunday, January 5th, and I'm here with my annual top 10 photos of the previous year thing. Last year I did this for 2023, so this year I'm gonna go ahead and just recap my top 10 photos and some honorable mentions from my 2024 stint as a photographer. And I'll say a few takeaways from this year was that there were a lot more photos to choose from just because I photographed the whole year. When I started in 2023, I really started taking photography seriously like August of 2023, so that's like less than half a year of photos to go through. Wow, just my air freshener making noise, crazy. But yeah, so this year there were a lot more to go through, and it was kind of tough to pick out a top 10. But I have a top 10 now, and a disclaimer, I don't actually think these are necessarily my top 10, but as a creator and someone who enjoys variety in things, I decided to only keep like the best photo, my favorite photo from like a series of photos that might be all pretty good, at least to me, and I just took the best from the series and included it in the top 10. So none of these photos you're seeing in this top 10 will be from the same series, so we have some diversity in here. And you can also check out my website. I have all my series plastered up on there as well, so if you want to see more, just check out the website, link in the description. But other than that, let's go ahead and get going. Okay, so number 10 for 2024, it's actually a photo I took in 2023, very late 2023, and I think this was an honorable mention last year, but this photo is I titled it Telepathy, which I describe as like you feel someone's emotions, like empathy, through telepathic means. So yeah, it's a mix of the two words. I'm pretty sure it's a real word somewhere. Because I remember one of my friends was like, dude, you titled this Telepathy, but it's telepathy. And I was like, no, I looked it up. But anyway, there's an added effect to this, though, that I sort of learned how to do through my experiments in a photography class last semester, and it's deconstruction. So you'll see that there are like triangles coming down, and that's the image being deconstructed before your eyes. So I think it's a pretty cool effect, and I like the way that it sort of just breaks down the image into their most basic colors at the parts where the triangles are coming in, and the image is already so dark that you don't really see much of it besides these two figures, my brother and another photographer. Her name's Eliza. I just told them to go stand there, put their hands next to the pillar, and I think it with this added deconstruction effect, I think it gives a viewer a lot to think about. I think it just adds another layer to this image for me that I'm a big fan of this image already, so I think this just adds even more to it. And it kind of, the deconstruction of the images can kind of symbolize a relationship between these two subjects, and yeah, it just makes the viewer kind of put together a story for this one. I love the rule of thirds as well. The contrast between the light, the pillar really does make it seem like there's a whole universe or wall, in this case, blocking them. The perspective I chose to take this with is good. And yeah, I don't want to overstay my welcome on number 10 for too long, because it was in last video as well, but this added effect just gave it that extra little boost it needed to make the top 10 this year, so I'm happy it's here. Alright, and number 9 we have a personal favorite of mine. Whenever I show this to other people, I don't think they truly understand what I see in it, but I think this image deserves a little bit of context, just because I am a big fan of core TikTok, and nostalgia core even more. And this was taken on a very nice September day, so school is just starting. It's very sunny out, and it's in my hometown where I took this. Just a really, honestly, remote, unremarkable location in my hometown. It's of some power lines. There's some greenery landscape in the background. Most people wouldn't bat an eye at this image, but I think with what I was able to capture, especially with the leading lines of all the power lines and how they're lined up with rule of thirds, the vibrancy of it all, does this not make you feel like you're back in 2009? Especially for all you Gen Zers out there that are watching this video, I feel like this image specifically does this the most for me, and I've always tried to capture that feeling in my images. And with Michigan, the weather gets really gray really fast, so this was one of the last images I got of this sort of feeling of I guess, liminal space and nostalgia that I was trying to go for with this, and the fact that it was taken with my hometown had some context to that for me. And some post-processing edits that I made, I added some grain, up the saturation, vibrancy, and I mean, it's a very sharp image. Like, all of it is super, super clear, and I just think that this image evokes the feeling of nostalgia and just days that are long past. You know, I feel like this image sort of puts me in when I was like 5 years old playing at this dog park in Plainwell, Michigan. I can remember these power lines just like this, how they were. And, you know, I feel like when we look back to our past, everything seems so much brighter, so much warmer. And that's really what I tried to evoke in this image. So I hope with that explanation, you guys are able to feel the same emotions from it. And I'm hoping to capture that even more once summer rolls back around. Alright, for number 8, we have a bit of a more unedited and simple, candid shot here. It might even be more like a still life, but this was taken during my internship time in Grand Haven, Michigan, and me and the other interns were out kind of just getting a feel for the beaches in our area, and this beach was empty besides this one person, just sitting there enjoying the beach. And I think this photo is an extremely clean one. Besides the sand not being all perfect, I think there is enough difference between the footprints of where this person came to set up their chair and just chill. I really like it. I think their contrast in outfit, their green like scarf blanket thing, and their green shirt, and their skin kind of against just the pale sand really works. And it's just a very simple photo that kind of shows the enjoyment of the beach. I think, you know, like, even no matter what you're wearing, no matter what the weather may be, this day was extremely windy, by the way, but you would not be able to tell from the photo. I love the sort of way the image locks your perspective, so you have no idea where this person may be actually. Like, if I were to change the yellow to an orange, you might think they're on Mars, and that might be an actually good idea, so maybe I'll do that and see what it looks like. But the leading lines of this person's trail to where they set up the chair too is just really satisfying to me, and the fact that they're the only one in this frame on this otherwise clean, sort of unstepped beach really satisfies me. This photo's clean, not really much else to say about it. I just it was a moment I had to capture on the camera, and just right place, right time. So, okay, everyone, we have our first self-portrait here, and this is me doing my first round of submissions I was going to do for my color photography class. And can you guess the color I chose? Yeah, so I chose green, and I guess sort of the underlying message behind this image is that you know, I in my senior year of college still, this is first semester stuff. I'm in my second semester now, but I was thinking about how college graduates sort of are brought up just to join the cog in the machine, become a cog in the machine, basically. And in a more digital age, you just become more code in a long string of code that serves the purpose of people that are just higher up than us that we can only hope to reach. And I know that's kind of sad, but it's sometimes a reality. This photo, I really tried to explore that sort of feeling I had. This is in my house, right outside my bedroom. You know, I'm like crawling out, like almost getting kind of sucked into that digital thing that I'm trying to escape. And I think the effect of code and like Japanese code like overlaid, and the grain, and you know, the blur and the color, I think it all serves the sort of matrix like purpose of dread, and kind of gets the point across of what I'm going for. So yeah, I think this is a cool one to look at, and it almost looks like a movie still or something like that. So, you know, I always like those. Oh man, we're getting back early into the year. This was taken in April for my final round of submissions for one of my classes last year, and this one was part of a series called Dancing Jerseys, and the idea was very simple. We finally got a decent day in Michigan, but it was still extremely, extremely windy. So I had the fun challenge of throwing my jerseys up into the air and just trying to get a photo of them, and I got a few clean ones, and this one was easily the best one. I love how clean it is, and the backdrop too is really, really cool. This image just hits close to home to me. My professor really liked it, and it was up in the display case for a while in one of my halls at my school, so that's cool. I think my whole project was about me letting go of that nostalgia, kind of letting it set free, not let it hold me behind. And I think nothing more describes that feeling than this image. So I think that's what this image sort of evokes, at least for me. The contrast of the jerseys as well, and the way they're framed. Very clean, very crisp image. The background, everything. Perfect day, perfect shot. This was that kind of image where it's like, I look in my camera as soon as I take it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I did something good there. So yeah, very proud of this one. Dancing Jerseys number 3 or 4. I don't know which one in the series this is, but you can also find this on my website too. Alrighty, we're not going to spend too much time with this one, but this one's called The Surfer. Pretty obvious one. It's just another one of those things. Perfect time, perfect spot, and perfectly empty. Oasis in front of this surfer that I managed to capture, and the way that he's framed and the horizon is straight. I don't think it could have ended up any better for me with this image. And for a one-off image, I think it's very strong and it's very telling, and it kind of gives the viewer this sort of thought that anything's possible, with the world is yours sort of thing. Shout out Nas, old school rapper. But what I think of in this image is that the whole world's in front of me. Use the tools necessary to you to sort of conquer it. So I hope that's what it makes you feel. And also, it's just a really cool photos for surfers and that community and the beach life in general. I'd love to throw some grain on this and maybe make the vibrance a little higher. The only thing I wish was that the sky wasn't gray. And if the sky was even a little bit brighter, it might have moved it up a spot. But for now, his suit's black, his surfboard's gray, the water's mute, and the sky is gray. I think they all kind of work in tandem with each other and are harmonious, so I think it works for what it is. And I'm very proud of this photo, and I'm happy I was there when the surfer was ready to go. Okay, finally moving into the more creative side of things. Yeah, this one's very different, as you can tell. For one of my classes last semester, we were working a lot with sort of AI image generation, and this was part of a project called Form as Concept. So I sort of looked at the form of movie posters and used that to help with our concept of AI, and I created a series of movie posters, and this one was my favorite. The other two are also, I think, very, very strong, but this one was just my favorite. I spent the most time on it. It looks pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie. This was honestly so much fun to come up with and create and use AI to sort of create this background that I wanted, and I wanted him to create this perfect image of a villain that I could fight. Through it all, I used my friends and other people's names as like the cast and crew that helped create this fake movie. Coming to cinemas October 31st, just in time for Halloween. It kind of relates to me wearing my Halloween costume. And I just had a lot of fun. And yeah, the movie was going to be called Valiant, which is like doing what's right despite having all these things go against you. You make a valiant effort towards something. Hanging up in me and my roommate's living room right now, and I think it fits in pretty well. So yeah, other than that, there's no really photography concepts in this besides taking the photo of me, but I think this is in that realm of post photography, so it's still photography. But yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Alright, we've moved into the top 3, and we have my best landscape shot of the year right here. No spoilers for the next one, obviously, but this is my best landscape shot of the year. This is actually at a park right next to our place, and there's this baseball gate that never gets used, and peak fall colors, leaves in the back. Absolutely beautiful, stunning image. The sky, I made that a little bit red and pink too, so matches the environment quite well. Added some grain, made sure to frame the baseball sort of fence and the trees all well together. And this image is just very aesthetically pleasing, perfectly framed, at least to me. 16:9 orientation. This could be a movie still. This could be. I don't even know what else it could be, but it's just. I think it's a very pretty image, and the fact that I was just in right place, right time yet again. The leaves might have not looked like this tomorrow. A lot more leaves might have fallen. Very pleased with how this one turned out, and I tried to go back and do it again the next month, almost a whole month after, and it just didn't have the same magic. So it's top 3 again over the last one because other people have asked for this one printed out. My girlfriend wanted one, my buddy Clayton wanted one, so of course I printed them out for them. I have one in our apartment downstairs on our art wall. So there's like 3 copies of this one out there in the world, and I'm more than willing to mail somebody a copy if they do want it. I feel like a lot of people take landscapes nowadays, but not all of them end up like this. Like, this is a special one to me, and I think this will forever be one of my favorite landscape shots I'll ever take. So yeah, definitely deserving a top 3, but won't beat these other 2. Okay, we have number 2, and this goes back to my class where we did the AI image generation, and for my final project I had to come up with 10 images. So imagine doing this 10 times. You think of an AI background, try to get the perfect one you're looking for through the AI, you finally get one, and then you have to take an image of yourself to sort of integrate yourself into it. And that's what I had to do. I seemingly figured out how to integrate myself perfectly into this one, and with help of my professor, he helped me come up with that graphic of all those all those book titles being into that thought bubble, sort of just a mess of ideas. And it's sort of a look into my mind, this image is at least, of how many ideas I have sort of just floating around, jumbling around, no time to do it all. And I think this image evokes it very well. The AI came up with what I was trying to do very well. I think the lighting it came up with is really impressive, and it was fun to try to match that while taking an image of me in real life. So I had to match lighting coming to my right, which I think I did pretty well, matching myself to the surrounding environment. And I was talking about deconstruction with image number 10. That's also in this as well. So the AI didn't deconstruct this for me. I deconstructed it myself. I deconstructed myself, integrated myself, added the graphic and everything. And it's just a combination of basically everything I learned over the semester. I think it culminated into my best AI plus real image, adding graphics at the end, deconstruction, stuff like that, a post-photographic image at its finest. And I think it's very effective, especially powerful if you're a writer or a creative person that has any amount of ideas, but you don't know how you're going to find the time to do them. And as for my best image of 2024, while you're looking at it, this image is part of Stuck in a Dream 2, and this dream is all about homework, the suffocation of being a writer, a writing student, or just any student in general. I think I did a really good job of incorporating everything I've learned, which is framing, lighting, incorporating color and themes into an image. And I think not only does this photo have elements of horror, but it just has elements of reality despite it being so surreal. What I want to be as an artist is I want to be a surrealist, and this is definitely my most surreal image I've ever captured. And it's an idea I've had in my mind since probably a year and a half ago, since I started photography, and I finally did it. I taped each one of those papers to myself, and I taped papers into the door, I taped papers on the floor, and I picked out a time with good lighting. I made sure that post-editing effects looked good and the colors all coincide together, and I mean, I just love how this image turned out. I'm very proud of it. I think it's the closest thing I've ever come to. I look at this image like a proud father. I don't know, there's not enough I can say about it, man. Your number one image should be able to sort of speak for itself, and that's what I'm gonna let it do. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching this top 10 again. I'll see y'all next year with this, and hopefully more videos to come out soon. Peace.